Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Mayor for the City of Roswell, Dennis Kintigh, back with us.
Which I had a chance to catch my breath after running all the way down here. I have no good excuse. I just got distracted at home and got busy. And, I got to get my rear ending here.
So it's his fault we talked about circus peanuts. For
yeah, I own that. Although I didn't pick the topic. Anyway.
Sometimes the topic picks us.
Sometimes the topic picks us. Like, for example, today, we're going to talk about the city council meeting, which is tonight.
Tonight, 6 p.m.
Yes.
At the Roswell Convention and Civic Center there in the council chambers.
Yes, sir.
It is open to the public.
Absolutely.
You can be there in person. You can watch it online at the City of Roswell's website, roswell-nm.gov.
Yep.
You'll even have there's go-to-meeting links if you'd like to chime in and
remotely, yes.
And remotely. So if you want to comment on any part of the process, there is a way to do that through the website.
Yep.
Fill out a little deal, and then at the appropriate time, the mayor will open the floor up to you.
Yep, and that's what we got. So we got it covered, all different ways. So be prepared, though. Tonight will be a marathon. We have
pack a lunch. Huh?
Yeah, pack a lunch. We have 30. If I show up in my same clothes tomorrow morning for the Sports Center version, you'll know why. We actually have 39 items on the agenda.
Okay.
Is that a lot? Yeah, that's a lot.
All right.
11 of them are on consent. As of late yesterday, they were still on consent, but I anticipate some will be pulled. One of our counselors feels the need to remove items from the consent agenda. What's the consent agenda? It means things that we all on the council say, yeah, this is good. We don't need to have take up time to debate. Yeah, it's a time saving. But any one counselor has the authority under our rules to pull it off of consent.
Yeah.
Because it implies we all agree.
Sure.
So,
but if someone doesn't, then they can pull it off, and then they can have discussion about it.
Right. So we're going to have some interesting presentations at the beginning. We're going to do a proclamation for Mr. Jake Trujillo. Jake, a veteran who has been doing taps down at the Veteran Cemetery for probably, I think it's 20 years now. But we're going to recognize and express appreciation to Jake.
He's a bugler too, right?
Yeah,
It's not just a trumpet player. He's a bugler, which I don't know musical instruments, but I'm told they're much more difficult to play than a trumpet.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't play any music.
Me either.
I play the radio.
I play a DJ on TV.
Right. Then that's cute. All right, so we got a couple presentations from the city manager, Joe Nebb, and he's going to talk about some restructuring of the Parks Department.
Okay.
How we're handling some things. You may have noticed we have a crew now that focuses on the downtown area. He's going to talk about that. And then we will also talk about the Public Affairs Department. We have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And there's something like 213 videos on that channel.
You guys crank out content all the time. If you want to learn more about various personnel that through the city or resources through the city, odds are there's probably a video.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of giving you that information through the city's website, through the YouTube channel, which you'll find a link to the website to get to.
Right. So we get through all that, and then we get into the nits and grits. We have scheduled an appeal hearing. What is that about? Well, as you know, every month we do condemnations and weeds resolutions. And under the condemnation, this stuff is reviewed by the Public Safety Committee.
Okay.
Then it comes to us, and oftentimes it's on consent. Not always, but often. And the city votes to condemn. Well, what does that really mean? That means a letter goes to the property owner saying, hey, this has been condemned. This is your final warning.
Gotcha.
Now, the bulldozer does not go out for, Thursday is a council meeting, and bulldozers do not roll on Friday.
That'd be way too efficient.
Yeah, they don't even roll on Monday. It may be a couple. But the property owner has the right to appeal.
Sure.
So in this particular case, the property owner has notified us that he wishes to appeal. So what happens is we go into like a courtroom type, Perry Mason type thing, and I act as a judge, and the counselors act as jurors, sort of, and then we have a presentation on it, and we vote yes or no to uphold the previous condemnation.
Gotcha.
If we uphold the condemnation, the individual still has the right to appeal to district court.
Okay.
We've actually had that happen in my time in office, I think just once. What that happens is a brand new trial in front of a district court judge. Okay. So what happens here is the point being that, the condemnations are not just, whack, your stuff being torn down. Mm-hmm. You have a property that's condemned. You can come into our code enforcement. You can pull a building permit. You can hire a contractor, and all that stops the demolition.
Sure. Yeah. It's never when there's a condemnation of property and all of that. There's usually 2-3 years of dealings with this before it gets to that point. Sometimes.
Yeah, these are not quick things. Yeah, it takes a while for us.
That's like step 100 in the process.
Yes.
Step 1 is just you get that letter in the mail saying, "Hey, cut your weeds," and then you probably get about a dozen of those, and then finally someone says, "You're not going to do that. We need to take action."
Now, interesting on the weeds thing. Recently, I sent out a letter to just about every church in town, and the weeds is a good example. We're just saying to people, "Hey, clean up your property." Basically, that's what it says.
Sure.
If you don't, we're going to do it, and then we're going to charge you for it. Mm-hmm. We can't do it for free. Well, we really don't want to do that.
Right.
We're really not interested in city staff going out and cutting weeds on a property, sure, whether it's a vacant lot or a house or
There's
whatever.
Plenty of city property they got to work on.
Bingo. We've got our own problems we got to deal with. So please take care of your stuff. Now, the reason why I wrote to the churches is there are some people, elderly, maybe handicapped, who really don't have the ability or maybe not the resources. Mm-hmm. Well, churches, help these folks out. Mm-hmm. Once again, we can't do it for free. The city cannot allow it. State will not allow us to do stuff for free.
Sure.
But if the churches step up, please do that and help people kind of clean up their property.
Yeah, it'd be a good public service, a community mowing event.
Yeah.
They go around and help some folks kind of help out with some yard work and things that they can't do themselves. Simple things, mowing lawn, trimming bushes, getting rid of weeds,
yes,
things like that. Yeah.
Pick up some trash, that kind of stuff. So let's just kind of clean up the whole place. And the rains have slowed down, so the weeds it's cooled off, so the weeds aren't growing as big.
This is the season for weed growing when the rain happens. The weeds come after.
Okay, what do we got going on? We got some other interesting stuff barreling through. We're going to talk about more on the marijuana ordinances. We're going to have part 7,254. Now, we're just doing a second bite at this apple. Gotcha. We've been doing it in pieces, a little more in the weeds, but we're trying to get this all done right.
Is it slowly but surely starting to form into
I think
something you can see?
Slowly is the operative word there.
Well, and we've had this conversation before, but you're not getting a lot of guidance from the state on this.
No. And
they're just basically saying you got to do it.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, how do we do it? What parameters we put in place? And that's the part that makes me a little, I mean, I get it. Each ordinance, each city has their own thing, but when it's something like this, it sure would be nice if there's one universal rule across the board.
I
so
agree.
If you go to Roswell, New Mexico, or Silver City, and you go into a dispensary, or the rules and everything are exactly the same, and that I feel like we're opening ourselves up to a lot of confusion this other way.
Well, this is because they rushed this legislation through. The governor forced this in a special session, allowed no amendments, no effort to deal with it. We have nothing to deal with impaired driving, which many of us are very concerned about. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, we're going to do our best. Well, we just have, like I said, a lot of housekeeping projects here. Like, for example, agreeing to entering into agreement with the State Department of Transportation on transportation funds. Okay, well, they want us to pass a resolution to agree with that. To get rid of surplus property. We have collective bargaining agreements, one with the Police Officers Association, another one with Utility Workers Union. We'll be voting on those, yes or no.
Is that behind closed door type stuff? Or that's okay?
If we have to get into the weeds on it, we will go into a closed session.
Okay.
But you can never take any action in a closed session. You've got to do it in open.
Sure, it's all discussion in closed session.
Just discussion. Gotcha. And that's where the attorney basically explains the facts of life to us.
Sure. That's when the attorney-client privilege side comes in. Where,
exactly.
They can't have open discussions because they might, well, it's a legal matter.
Now, here's another interesting one. Here's a contract for almost $400,000 down at the Air Center dealing with security measures. Now, this one's going to be a little bit funky because, it's electronics, it's whatever, but we're not going to talk about exactly what in an open meeting because the TSA, who is driving this train and says, City, you've got to do this stuff, will not allow us to give out details in an open meeting.
Well, that makes sense.
And like the council really doesn't need to know. People who need to know, like how this is really going to work are the, staff out there who are doing security.
Sure. It's the freedom of information, but you don't want, there's not all information is free.
Right.
And you've got to protect that, and you can't openly talk about, it'd be no different than saying, hey, I'm going to change the locks, but I'm going to leave a copy of the lock laying around for people if they need it,
Yeah, we're not doing that. So we got gate controls, we've got cameras, we got other sensors out there that we will not discuss, et cetera, et cetera. So also at the Air Center, this is kind of cool. Not kind of cool, it is extremely cool. So back in the first week of September, city manager, Joe Nebb, and president of the EDC, Mike Espiritu, went to this company called RUB. Now, we've talked a little bit about RUB because they're involved in the project to build a large hangar that will be leased by Ascent.
Gotcha.
So while they're up there checking out RUB and kind of doing due diligence, RUB says, oh, by the way, we've got this building kit that we had assembled for another client who decided in the end they didn't need it, but it's already ready to go. And
you guys want it?
And we got a deal. So it's 120 by 180. They will fully assemble this whole thing for $650,000.
Wow.
So we're like, yeah.
Just to kind of give people like how much bigger is this hangar than the largest hangar out there? Is there a
No, but this will be more like a small hangar or a warehouse.
Oh, okay. This is the one that they will house the 777.
No, that's 300 by 300.
Okay.
So this is like 120 by 180.
Oh, okay.
So about half the distances, which means it's a quarter of the square footage.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you. Okay. So it's a different one.
Yeah, it's about 26,000 square feet, somewhere in that.
Okay.
Which is still very good. And the top, the wind opening, which is the interesting controlling factor for a lot of these things, is not big enough for a large airliner. Now, it can handle smaller stuff, some corporate jets and things like that. We've got one of our tenants out there is already interested, and a second tenant is also interested.
Okay.
So we will be seeing, candidly, we don't have a final location for it because it's going to depend upon which tenant wants it.
Well, is the idea to replace one out there, or did you just put a brand new one
This is an
along
additional.
with? Gotcha. Okay.
This is an additional one.
Okay.
And so we've got some other discussions going on that are focused on trying to come up with new structures out there to replace some of our really old things.
Well, and again, remind folks, it was an Air Force base back in the 40s, 50s. It closed in the 60s.
Long time.
And the U.S. government isn't updating buildings that they no longer have possession of. So,
no, that's
so some of those hangars, they were there back when the United States military called it home. And they're that old. So.
That closed, we're coming up on 55 years ago.
Yeah.
Next year will be 55 years that it's been closed. Mind-boggling.
Getting old, aren't we?
Yeah. It was just, oh my gosh, it was 1967. So what we're seeing here, and then on the consent agenda, assuming some things get pulled, we got water line repair, we've got hot recycling. That's one of those things where we go out and melt the streets and smooth them out. Doing a striping project, utility repair, a Hondo Riverbank repair. Yeah, during that storm we had in Memorial Day weekend, there's a section of the Hondo River Channel that's kind of paved.
Okay.
Like the Spring River one, but
gotcha.
this one got knocked off, and it's east of Elm Street.
Formally moved.
And we got some leases for some aircraft storage out there at the Air Center.
Okay.
You know, I wish I could say there's some heavy things that we're going to work on, but in
routine.
reality, we're just going to be working our way through a lot of stuff. And
it's just the business of running a city.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it is a lot to it. And we're excited about a lot of these things. I mean, getting streets repaired, and we're kind of joking about this. One of the things that we're looking at, by the way, it's an agenda item here, is that and this was Councilor Roebuck really pushed this concept.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have like three kinds of streets. We have arterials, collectors, and what we call neighborhoods. And arterials are like Main Street, sure, and Atkinson, and collectors would be like Fifth or College, a little College.
It's kind of based on the amount of traffic the street gets, basically.
And then neighborhood would be, Mission Arch or something like that.
So-and-so court.
Yeah, so-and-so court. So what we tend to do is focus on arterials, then collectors. But Councilor Roebuck really pointed out, hey, let's start working on our neighborhood streets too. And they don't get the same traffic, but it's directly impacting those people in that neighborhood, sure, and the folks that come to see them.
I would imagine those streets probably are more impacted by weather conditions than an actual street traffic, I would think. The cold and hot changes, right, that's probably more abusive to that pavement than whatever cars are driving over it.
And they don't get a whole lot of traffic, but if you're right, if you start to have some cracking in the asphalt and wintertime comes, and you get the water and ice. Water is basically not our friend. Wait, what's that? Yes.
Not in the road cruises.
Not in the road business. I mean, all honesty, water is wonderful in a lot of ways. It goes good with whiskey on occasion. But no, seriously.
For fighting with Texas.
That's right. But as far as streets go, it is corrosive. It is really nasty. So the idea here is to try and let's don't just focus one place. Let's focus around the community. And sure, we're in a position where we can do that financially. Good. Now, the trick will become, can we get there's resources? In other words, can we get the contractors? Can we get the materials? Right now, that seems to be working out. Oh, Lee and Deming Bridge. All right. Yes, I know. It's the bridge project that never ends.
The bridge of nowhere?
Yeah. No.
But it actually is a bridge that goes somewhere.
Yeah, it goes across
Lee
Street.
It feels like
taking forever.
Yeah.
I was actually out there 2 days ago just taking a peek because I'm always interested in this stuff. We really got knocked down by the Memorial Day storm, wrecked some of that, the forms.
2 steps forward, 1 step back situation. Yeah.
And then we got more rain. I think it was 4th of July weekend. They had actually tried to construct a diversion so that they could get the water away from the construction area. Overwhelmed that. So that, once again, 2 steps back.
Gotcha.
However, the progress has been made recently, and they're creating the forms. The vertical sections, the 2 sides, and the middle vertical support are been poured and done. So now they're building the forms to support the horizontal section. So what you'll have is rebar, reinforced concrete. So those are being built.
Gotcha. And I'm guessing, and I'm no engineer or anything, but I'm guessing because of the amount of stress that gets put on those vertical structures, if that foundation isn't seated right and all that, it's setting the whole thing up for failure.
Correct.
Hence the reason with all the rain, the weather, they couldn't establish that foundation to put these vertical in so they won't sink a foot when they are in and later on down the road here.
And you're right. What we did though is we actually had the floor under it already poured and ready to go, but we had built the forms for the vertical, and those forms got wrecked.
Okay.
That's what.
So they were there, and the water physically moved it, and now we got to start over again.
Yeah, we had to rebuild the forms.
Okay.
The rebar was not damaged, but the forms had to be rebuilt, and there was washout around the sides.
Gotcha.
So all of that's going to be rebuilt, filled in.
So they got work done and basically had to redo it over because the water got. I got you. Okay.
So that's that's an issue. Washington Avenue, interesting. A lot of people want to talk about Washington Avenue. So from McGaffey to Alameda, that has been redone. It's been what we call a mill and fill.
Okay.
Interesting. Right, it was north of Deming, and I can't remember which street it was. As they're milling means you grind out the old asphalt, which is all cracked
Then
and
heat
nasty.
it up, put it back together, kind of.
Well, and then you use fresh. But
gotcha. Okay.
just north there, it was concrete underneath, and it was really wild because you could see where the cracks in the concrete came through to the cracks in the asphalt.
Yeah, because concrete just keeps getting harder and harder over time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine that probably shortened the life of whatever was on top of it, because concrete's constantly hardening, and so it's constantly shifting that foundation.
Yep.
Interesting.
Now, the other interesting thing is that they had done some additional asphalt over the years, and they were actually filling up the street. So the depth of the curb was actually pretty narrow. So when we cleaned it all out, and I say we, the street crew guys and the contractors, so that it's the way it's supposed to be. There's a significant curb there, which is good for controlling, once again, water.
Right.
And that portion there is basically done. We got to do some, I think, some more microfiling.
Okay.
And then we'll do some striping. We are requesting from the state money to do additional work on Washington. Like I said, we're going from McGaffey up to Alameda. And what we're asking for is basically from Alameda up to 8th Street. It's funny, we asked for it in two ways. We talk about Alameda to 2nd and then 2nd, 8th, because we're not really going to pave across 2nd. 2nd's already done.
Sure.
But that would take us all the way up to 8th. And 8th, for those of you who are thinking, where on Washington is that? That's where Washington crosses over the Spring River.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's that right about there.
Okay.
Also, just past 8th, Washington kind of climbs up the hill a little bit. There's still going to be other portions of Washington need to be worked on. This is the stuff that really needs the attention right now. And we're hopeful that the state will come through with some funding. It's the capital outlay money. So that's where we're going to be asking our legislators to make that a priority. In all honesty, if they don't, we will still figure out a way to come up with the money. But
Gotcha.
The problem, the challenge then becomes, okay, we're going to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Sure.
So the Washington project will get done. Some other project
somewhere
will
else is we're going to have to take from somewhere else to get
yeah,
it done.
they'll have to wait.
Gotcha.
And we'd rather be able to do all of it because we need to.
Well, well, that's the day-to-day minutia of running a city.
Yep.
You got to make those decisions. Say, all right, well, we got X amount of dollars here. What's the bigger need? Is it this project or this project?
That's right.
And this one's actually been going a while, and the need is greater there. So.
And Washington, interestingly enough, we think of it as a neighborhood street, and it really is. But it's also one of our, I don't know if I call it an arterial or collector, but it's one of those few streets that runs the whole length. It goes all the way down to Brasher, and it runs north all the way to Morendo.
So it is one of those few streets that go from other than our main arteries, of course,
Right.
that go from one end of town to the other.
Yeah, and as you remember when we were doing Untana, that section right there through the golf course, that carried a lot of traffic.
It did. I remember.
And we went back to doing, when we got Untana opened, went back and did a hot recycle on that to give it some attention. That's held up pretty darn well. This hot recycling, and you're going, what is that? Well, basically, you bring in a train of vehicles, and they melt the asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the technical version, but it's like effectively they melt the asphalt, smooth it out, then they come back and put a finish on top of it. And it is not a, how do I want to put it? It's not like a rebuild or anything like that, but it is a life extension
Sure.
and it helps because what it does is helps keep the water from getting into
Gotcha.
and under the asphalt.
So if you tried to compare it to like a human thing, would it be like going to getting a teeth cleaning kind of thing? at the
Ooh,
dentist?
that's probably a nice way of put it. Yeah,
Would
teeth
it be,
cleaning, yeah.
If you want to try to compare it to something,
Yeah.
would it be kind of like
I was thinking more like a Band-Aid, but that's
gotcha, giving the road a teeth cleaning kind
Yep.
of thing?
give the
maintenance,
road a teeth cleaning.
making sure if there's, and I'm sure with the hot recycling, if there's something that's more, troublesome, they can put a little more of that, whatever it is in there to
The
fill
magic
it out.
stuff.
Yeah. the goo.
So we got that rocking and rolling. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I think I mentioned this. I did it off the air, but one of the interesting little things we're going to do is change the date of the November council meeting.
Yeah, well, next month, mark your calendars.
Yeah. So the second Thursday, that's when we have always met as a city council, the second Thursday of the month. Well, in November, the second Thursday is November 11th, which is
Veterans Day.
Exactly.
Holiday.
So all us veterans take it as a holiday. So
now the celebration will be that Saturday before.
Before or after?
I think it's before. Don't quote me on that. It's the Saturday right around it.
Right.
Let me confirm that.
But
I've slept since then.
But that day is a federal holiday, and it's also a city holiday.
Yeah.
So we will be closed on Veterans Day, November 11th. So what we're going to do is move the November City Council meeting to the third Thursday.
Okay.
11 plus 7 is 18.
There you go.
There we go. We're doing a little math here.
Yeah. And I guess that'll be the Thursday before Thanksgiving, won't it?
Yes.
That week later is Thanksgiving, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
So it'll be the 18th of November will be when the November City Council meeting is.
6 p.m. The time, everything's the same.
Yeah.
It's just 1 week later.
Yes. And we're doing it because the 11th is a holiday.
Yeah.
And so
but because it's set by the council and the dates and times that you meet, you basically have to do something in the meeting to say,
Yep.
Can we move the meeting a week? Okay, we're all good with it. Let's do it. So let it be written. So let it be done. We're going next week.
oh, let it be written, let it be done. Okay, I know where that's from. What's he talking about? The 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston.
Famous line there from that movie.
With Pharaoh, so it is written. What is it? Let it be written, let it be done.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Yes. and Moses is condemned. Anyway, and
as opposed to the history of the world version of Moses, where he's like, I got these 10, and then he drops one of the tablets, 5 commandments. That's the Mel Brooks version.
Yeah, okay.
Not to confuse them.
Yeah, poor Mel Brooks. Oh, my gosh. All right. And did I mention... I think I did. I'm trying to remember what we did off the air about the asphalt emulsion plant. That sale has gone through, and the FAA has finally blessed us 11 months after we did it. Now, part of the deal is this. So the FAA, in their all-knowing wisdom, says, okay, yeah, we'll let you sell this land, which is like on the opposite side of Earl Cummings Loop and nowhere near the runways. Yeah, we'll let you do that. Even though you own it, but we'll let you do that.
Well, that was very gracious of them.
But you have to promise not to obstruct the airspace. Okay. I mean, like, what are we going to build? The Empire State Building?
How high can we go? What are we talking here?
I don't know. The water towers are like, 3 blocks away, and they're like 75 feet or something.
Should planes be flying this low around this area?
No, the runway is way over there.
That would be a problem if
yeah,
it's
like,
low here.
So this is like, well, you have to promise that you're not, okay,
yeah.
We will promise. So we actually have to pass a resolution saying that not only we promise, but that the people we sell to will promise, and we will make sure they never build the Eiffel Tower or the Empire State Building on that property.
So in those leases, you got to put a keep it short clause.
Yeah. Under 10,000 feet. No.
That's
right. Okay, whatever it takes, FA. This is one of the funny things about that place, and it's probably not funny, but for example, there's a big empty space out there where the old base hospital was.
Okay.
That was the state rehab hospital for years, and then they built the new one, and they tore down after a couple years. They decided, everybody seems to be vandalizing this, so they finally got smart and tore it down.
Gotcha.
They being the state, and now that chunk of property just sits there. And I've been trying to get the state to, do something with it or sell it to us or preferably give it to us.
Yeah.
But
they realize they even have it.
I try to remind them on a regular basis, but it's dead trees that they don't cut down. Now, we could do a resolution, but they would tend to ignore us.
Well, I'm about to say, can we pull the moves like, hey, if if you're derelict in your property here, we're going to send you weed notices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what they do with them? They don't.
I know, but if we do enough and then we just take it and then, possession's 9/10.
They like to ignore us. Except when it comes to money.
Right, except we owe them, then they want it quick.
Now, one of the interesting little tidbits is the National Guard Armory sits on city property there at the airport.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to say, hey, let's cut a deal. Hey, come on,
Sure.
Come see me to make you a deal.
Let's make an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah,
here.
we'll swap. Well, they're still thinking about that one a year and a half later. It's like, my gosh, come on, guys.
Well, it is.
Everything takes forever dealing with the state and the feds.
Yeah, government action.
Oh, my gosh.
It doesn't matter what level. It's glacial.
Yeah, and so trust me, people are sometimes frustrated with the city not moving fast enough. Yeah, I feel your pain.
It rolls uphill.
I feel your pain.
Yeah. Don't forget, tonight is City Council meeting, 6 p.m. Again at the normal location there at the convention center in the council chambers there. You can be in person and watch it. You can also watch it online at the City of Roswell's website, roswell-nm.gov. Go there and then of course any of the other stuff, a lot of things we were talking about here. You'll find information at the city's website there. You'll see the complete city council agenda.
Exactly.
Everything there and what's going to be discussed, what items are on the,
hundreds of pages.
All 38 items of things.
39.
39 items on the list there.
Not that
you
I'm
can
counting.
go and check out for yourself. And then, of course, it's on demand there, too. So if you're busy tonight, you can catch it in the morning or whenever at your leisure.
There is that.
Yep. And then, of course, tune in tomorrow morning here to the radio about 7:35. Mare will be on. Con McDonald's, and we'll give all the highlights. Hopefully the meeting is not crazy long. And
so is Nick still doing the green chili on the Egg McMuffins?
I'm not sure. I mean, we can ask and we get them on there, but you want one on there?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I know I've been doing the burritos forever, but you know what? That Egg McMuffin with the green chili was...
All right, you hear that, Tanner? Mayor's request for tomorrow is a green chili Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
But I will say this real quick. Teachers, all this week, if you're a teacher, principal, school worker, just show your ID. They'll give you free breakfast.
Whoa.
You get like an Egg McMuffin or a sausage biscuit or a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, side of hash browns, and a medium coffee for free all week through tomorrow. They started Monday. I've been telling people throughout the week, but if you're just hearing about this, you got today, tomorrow. If you're a teacher, educator, principal, if you got a school ID, show it. They'll give you a free breakfast.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but that's through tomorrow only. So,
all right.
So now they might charge you if you want to put some green chili on that. But what's that cost? $1?
Price, yeah.
They give you a free
the price of yeah. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you in the morning. All right.
Yep.
Hopefully, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, not bleary-eyed and wearing the same outfit.
Correct.